am, honestly.
I don't know. Casting a best of 5 does take a lot. I'm sure both of you guys are sitting on similar fatigue levels. Meanwhile, I'm like Vega Squadron, you know? I'm fresh. I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, this is going to be easy. A simple best of 3. Get into the grand finals, no problem. I don't know. This should be a matchup that is very draft dependent, at least from what I got. You know, I went back and I watched the Vega Navi match because I didn't watch that the first time around. Honestly, because I didn't think Vega was going to be too much of a contender, but they actually did take Navi to 3 games, but it was very much based around drafts. I think like first draft was like Navi first picking a Terrorblade, and that got countered really heavily. Second game was Vega Squadron picking a Bloodseeker, and we learned Bloodseeker may be a strong pub hero, but against actual coordination, it doesn't really work out well. And then game 3 was a Medusa versus Animage. So it was like, in my opinion, it was draft wins all the way through. So I am anticipating that this series will also be kind of similar, that Vega Squadron could actually beat Navi here, despite Navi looking like the stronger team, just purely based off of draft.
Okay, yeah, and I'm excited to see if that's actually going to be the case. Interesting picks all around. We've seen kind of a resurgence of Spirit Breaker, and more often than not, it's to try and either A, like, you know, deal with the Ricky or Bounty Hunter, or B, be part of this dual aggressive lane. And, well, it's a bit of a throwback for Vega. It's going to be the Darkseer with it as well. Good team fight, great pickoff potential. But Tree, to me, has felt like the hero of the patch nonetheless.
Yeah, Treant Protector is definitely, I was looking back through some of the win rates of the heroes in the Kiev major and then following afterwards, and it really does seem like there are certain standout heroes. Train Protector was one of them, Terrorblade is another, and you could see that got banned away by Navi, and they're also the ones that first picked it in that best of 3 against Vega Squadron in the first place, so you could see that hero has a lot of priority. I think another one that is going to go perhaps unmentioned here is, unless Vega Squadron pick it up, is the Templar Assassin. I think that is an incredibly strong mid right now. We see it quite a lot in the NA scene, and I think it's just one of those heroes that time will kind of show that in this current meta, it is one of the most powerful mids you can get your hands on. But having that refraction for Navi obviously wouldn't make a whole lot of sense against the Darkseer. They already have the Treant Protector, Living Armor that's going to be eaten up by the Ion Shell, so they obviously can't focus too heavily on those kind of damage-based blocks.
Yeah, that would be a little bit of overload. I do like the combination of having Tree and then Refraction work together, but like you said, the DOT already there, and then having Spirit Breaker able to move in and mess with them. They're just going to take the CM for now. So nice mana regen, gives you a little bit of early laning strength. For Vega Squadron, it's kind of a weird one, I feel like, because, you know, we talked about the strength in the laning phase of Spirit Breaker and Darkseer, and you can do stuff in the mid game with still taking fights, but having, like, you know, both a Tree heal and then also the Juggernaut healing ward down, I feel like maybe if, like, it gets to a point where they're trying to trade off towers, Navi will be the ones that are a little bit ahead in that regard, because you can force the towers to the Juggernaut and keep your towers protected with the Tree as well.
Yeah, I think Crystal Maiden, she was like the most picked support, and we kind of do that going into the Kiev major. It was like incredibly versatile hero, and I think versatility is pretty big right now, because you want these heroes that are able to play off of, like, you want to be able to have strong early game, strong mid game, and still be able to scale into late game as well. You see very few lineups that don't have at least I would say like 40% chance to win in the late game. You know, like, even if they don't have the advantage late game, they still can win if they play it, you know, they just play it better than the enemy, or they have a net worth advantage. So Crystal Maiden's one of those, like, really strong early game heroes that is able to take advantage of jungle, which is particularly important in this current meta. But Vega Squadron's choice of the Shadow Shaman is another one of those Kiev heroes that did have a very high win rate, I believe. Didn't get picked up as much as many of the others, but it seems kind of okay right now. I'm not sure how I feel about it against the Treant Protector. It does look like we're going to be doing like aggro dual lanes for both teams. And Shadow Shaman is particularly bad against aggro dual lanes. Super strong against solo offlaners, but maybe not. Na'Vi could always contest that dual lane of the Darkseer Spirit Breaker. And I guess Enigma would be one of the few heroes that can actually go as a solo offlaner against a Shadow Shaman +1.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. I don't know how I'd feel about that. And also, the interesting thing here is, like, Na'Vi, they ended up having, obviously, in that last match that we just saw for the Summit, I'm sure everybody was keeping an eye on it. Everything go crazy and haywire, and the games are going really late. This, to me, feels like it's a much more aggro, let's just try and end the game now draft. They don't want to go crazy and, go to the super late game. And Vega Squadron, as you mentioned with the Shadow Shaman, also just the same style of play there. But yeah, seeing the Enigma now and knowing that it's going to be in the off lane, does that change any of the thoughts from Vega Squadron? They still have to go for this dual off lane, right?
I think they still go for the dual off lane for Vega Squadron. Na'Vi still have a little bit more room to work around. I would say Na'Vi, to complete their draft, are probably going to be looking for more of a carry mid. You obviously don't want a single core Juggernaut. It's really not very good, and you can't rely on the Enigma necessarily to be your like semi carry. So you're probably looking at Invoker's a pretty bad hero right now, but that seems to, my mind always goes back to Invoker as one of those mids that can perform for you. It's kind of disruptive. Maybe it's one of the few Invoker games, but I kind of doubt it. More likely we'll see a hero like maybe OD or SF. Maybe if you want a building hitter and you really want to go aggro, that would probably be the most aggressive lineup you'd see in this current meta, would be like a mid SF and a safe lane Juggernaut. It doesn't give you a whole lot of late game viability, but the Enigma does kind of boost that a little bit, and it would give them this opportunity to just like pressure a lot of towers pretty early. They could potentially win their mid matchup depending on what it is. They could have really strong laning phase and then take all these outer towers and then can just kind of control the map for a while and play off of the first two Roshans. And then if the game goes late enough, I guess you even have the Treant Protector Ags, which would be a decent amount of control.
Yeah.
Sniper as well, actually. Sniper's coming back into the meta a bit.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one too. It seems like the one problem with that is obviously Spirit Breaker charging at you, causing problems, but I guess you have play arounds for that also. A good amount of, well, not a ton of them, but a couple of ways to interrupt that charge, and then obviously you're going to go for Hurricane Pike later too. And then that's that building hitter, as you were mentioning, and that's maybe why you see the Spectre ban.
Yeah, it could be. I think that SF is a little bit more the viable hero here, and the Spectre would be really annoying. And sure enough, the SF is going to be banned. I think it's all based on the matchups right here. For example, if Vega Squadron go for, let's see, we've got is this a mid silencer or a safe lane silencer? I'm not sure which, but if it's, say, like a mid OD, then you probably pick up Sniper against it. If it's what's a different safe laner that'd be really good right now? Slark's banned.
5 seconds remaining.
You don't want like a strength hero necessarily against Enigma, but Sven does go well against Juggernaut.
You know what? You're clipping a little bit. Do you want to try a Skype call real quick and we can see if we
can
solve
sure.
this? All right, let me hop on that real quick. I'll call you up, and then if it doesn't work, we'll go back to this. It'll be great.
Okay.
Hello? Oh, hey.
Is that better?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit better. I'll boost you up a little bit. We'll make it work. We're all about solving problems here, and we're going to make it wonderful. But still safe lane hero. You said not strength.
10 seconds
yeah, Spectre
remaining.
was a good ban.
Anti-mage.
Ooh.
An anti-mage without a clear without like a clear counter. Like anti-mage is usually picked up when you want to be able to counter something. Say you have a Induce on the other team, or you have like an Alchemist or something. Like you want to be able to keep tempo with that kind of gold. You usually don't settle on an anti-mage before you know what the enemy team is doing. But unfortunately, most of the carries that that are out there are kind of banned away. So I'm not feeling very good about Vega Squadron's choice here. What's left?
Oh, safe lane. No, they could run Juggernaut mid, then safe lane Bloodsinger. They'll bring it back. Probably not. That was the pick, obviously, that you mentioned that happened earlier. Seems unlikely.
Yeah, Vega Squadron was okay. They do go the Alchemist. against the Animage. I thought maybe they would try and take the tempo against the Animage, but I guess it is a little bit dangerous. They do have some pretty good early game heroes in Vega Squadrons with the Spirit Breaker Darkseer combination combined with the Silencer. I still prefer Navi's lineup just because they have all good Ags upgrades, so Navi's not going to feel terribly pressured going against the Animage. Aloha Dance has got to be able to get his like 35-minute farm and probably end the game by like 50 is what I would kind of look for timings here, especially since I don't feel like Silencer is particularly reliable into the late game. He can be strong. It's kind of like OD in some ways, and that you can be strong, you can be a heavy hitter, but you're unreliable late game, and I think that's the biggest takeaway is that when you run these strategies, you want to make sure that you have like guaranteed win conditions. So I would say Vega Squadron, they're going to have to be super disruptive with Sioma the Slayer. Like, he's their only playmaker. If you look at this, and Animage is farming, and Darkseer, spends a lot of time in his lane, and Silencer isn't really a hero that moves around and makes things happen, then you've only got Spirit Breaker. Like, Shadow Shaman's not really a mover around either. So you've only got Spirit Breaker to make the plays happen around the map, and they do need a lot of disruptive plays to make sure that Na'Vi don't take the control of the game at 20 minutes with their Juggernaut. Because if you look at the Na'Vi side of things, they do have some mover and shakers. At least Train Protector makes a little bit more happen during the laning phase. At times you have a Juggernaut core, which is I think a big playmaker who moves around every single time he has Omni Slash. So I do kind of prefer Na'Vi's lineup, but this is going to be, I think, ultimately a bit of a farm fest.
All right, well, we'll have to see if they can, make the... I guess the thing, too, is that maybe you take those couple of heroes from Na'Vi who are playmakers. Oh, God, Sioma's just going to be taunting the whole game long. And then you end up going back and, try and shut down the AM. Ever is going to run right into Sioma here, and with an Ion Shell already on him, a couple punches. This is actually a charge forward. Is going to be dealing some more, and they will use the Frostbite to make sure the CM gets out A-okay. Yeah, that taunt is the worst in the game, though. Jesus.
Is it the worst? I know it's pretty bad. It's definitely pretty bad because I've gotten a lot of Spirit Breakers taunting lately and just spamming it out. But you think it's the worst one? Because I think the SF one is pretty bad too.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I think it's just because of the Frankfurt Major and the way that worked out. It was always happening. Like, could you imagine if Spirit Breaker was taunting like that every game, just right as you're trying to farm last hits in safe lane?
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Valve is all about the taunts right now. We're getting more of these heroes that are actually getting taunts themselves, but now there's also the question mark when you get a deny. There's these voice chats that you can throw out where, somebody misses a last hit on a rage creep and or ends up, suiciding to neutrals or gets first blooded. All of a sudden you hear Toby's voice, "It's a disaster!" And I'm like, oh God, not again, stop it.
I don't need this in my life. I've already been haunted enough by missing the creep. Yeah, no, I'm with you. It seems like it's a thing. And you also see now as well that the allied chat means that you're also going to be able to, we'll be able to see that now too, as casters, even any allied chat that goes on.
I noticed that earlier. I was watching that Na'Vi game and they both pinged the Roshan time. That's really cool. I hope that, is it just command ally chat, or if somebody actually takes the time to say something to their allies in the chat, do we get to see that?
No, it's just command ally chat as far as I could tell. I know, that'd be the best.
I was hoping to pick up some flame, some key flame in some of these games.
It'd be the best. Well, early little movements around right now. Na'Vi just got completely owned with their wards. Their D ward, or their observer ward over here got D-warded. Their observer ward mid got D-warded. Then they placed a sentry on the high ground. So General is not feeling good. He is going to be in some trouble, and Sioma is just going to keep this pressure onto him. Tough match so far for Na'Vi already.
Yeah, he's starting off in the safe lane and just basically abusing General's Enigma has been a really smart idea because the Darkseer doesn't necessarily need him to begin with. It's a Crystal Main who's going to be spending most of her time jungle to start anyway. You want to get that really coveted level 3 where you have this 2 levels of Arcane Aura. So he's going to be spending his time jungling to start. And Suneko plus Pycat, Juggernaut, and Treant Protector, 2 melee heroes, can't really zone you out. So Afterlife can actually solo really well in the start, and then as he gets his level and Sioma's layer gets level 2 or something, they can rotate down to bottom and have this really big power spike where they could take over the lane even against 3 heroes.
Yeah, and he's going to have his boots up as well. Sioma trying to soak up whatever experience he can to mess with General here. In the mid lane, Dendy's having himself a final time, 9-0 versus the 9-3. Obviously, there was the change to the way that Acid Spray is laid out, but you can still get a bunch of the CS as well. So trades going out across the lanes. We'll see if they can start to put the screws a little bit to the Juggernaut in the bottom lane over the next couple minutes. Actually, I'm just going to go into General, break his clarity, and then run away. God, what a butt.
Yeah, that is not much you can really do about that one, I think. He's just got to keep on farming, and there's nothing he can really do. He's just got to kind of like ignore Sioma from time to time. And he's going to have half the experience taken away and all that sort of thing, but he just keeps doing it. Like, you just ultimately accept the fact that their 4 position is so focused on you that he's not ganking mid, that he's not pressuring the Juggernaut.
Well, there are some pings coming out. They're going to get another deny on these creeps here and now try and force Sioma back a little bit. But you do also have Silent moving in, and vision-wise, they don't see this Shadow Shaman here. Now they do spot him, and they realize they are not going to be able to do it. They're going to block both of his camps at the 3-minute mark and just walk away. Oh, General. This is some cyberbullying.
All right, Sadeko's finally going to try to... What, he laid down a sentry? Oh, my God. I don't think I've ever seen a team pressure an Enigma this much. Besides, like, going way back when it was 4-position Enigmas, and you'd go and, like, you get like 2 sentries in the jungle and maybe throw even an observer ward and block 3 different camps. Like this kind of harkens back to those old days where you just try and kick the Enigma in the balls as many times as possible for the first 5 minutes.
Jeez. And I mean, he is still getting levels by and large, and they're also going to be charging and ether shocking his Eidolons, taking those away as well. Whatever small comfort Enigma thought he was going to have, it's not going to be there. But it's still going to be a good amount of space given to Dendy. They're not messing with him, and he's gotten pretty much free farm, even though he's been pushed out of lane.
Yeah, he's at this point. You look at it, silencer matchup's kind of annoying, and you can get almost just as much farm out of your jungle, particularly since you have close access to these bounty runes. So he's just playing off of that. I think it's fine. He's not going to get the same amount of experience out of the jungle for sure, but he'll still probably keep up with farm, no problem. And that can give him his supports a little bit of solo time in mid. And they do need, like, we really need these supports to have a lot of farm, particularly the Crystal Maiden. If you can get a lot of levels in CM, him and Juggernaut, Pycat, they can actually move around the map and get kills together. You have the Ensnare, Lockdown, or Frostbite against an Animage plus the Omni Slash. That's a kill combo for sure.
Well, and Sineko here is trying to soak up some more experience as they are going to bring in some more heroes, trying to pressure the tower. If they can manage to get this early tier 1 tower down, it would be quite strong, particularly against the tree, who only has the 1 point up right now in living armor. So not a ton of regen's going to be coming through that, as Dendy taking some more damage mid, going to be forced back. But yeah, I like what they're doing with their movement around the map and, having CM farm out the secondary jungle.
But ultimately, this is all like... These are like little stopgap measures, kind of doing what they have to do. But I really think that Vega Squadron is the one getting the most out of this laning phase. Okay. Oh.
Maybe they dropped the global already, thinking about going for him. There's a charge through and they cancel it out. So global committed to make sure that Silent and the anti-mage stay alive.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate because now I think with Pycat picking up his level 6, I don't know, he's low on mana and he'd have to make a pretty heavy rotation, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to see if they could force a fight with the Juggernaut Omni Slash while that global silence is down. But maybe they don't feel comfortable being aggressive. They are going to be playing very defensive for the most part. You could be playing them, see them play off their off lane and mid lane quite a bit. I think most of the times whenever you have Tinker or Alchemist, you play around your mid and off lane jungle the most. As your safe lane jungle usually gets taken over. It's kind of a little bit too exposed to kind of reach too far out there. So it's definitely going to be a very defensive game for Navi, at least for the first, like, I would say 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Yeah, and oh my god, does he just get a courier snipe here? Oh,
almost.
Almost there, not quite going to be in range. But that does also tip off now, Navi, that there's a Spirit Breaker roaming around the jungle. Also, we got to mention real quickly, AM Midas. It's come back again with just brown boots. Rio,
yes.
It's the way to go.
People have been looking at it. The increase in gold that you've gotten from the Hannah Midas change is worthwhile for these AFK farmers who hit a very large peak at around 30 or 35 minutes. You know, it's kind of like, why not? Like, the Midas is going to pay for itself, and then it's going to pay even bigger dividends past that point in time. Why don't you go the Hannah Midas if you're not planning on having an impact from this hero at all for the first 20 minutes? Like, AM is just not going to be a part of fights unless it's blink in and throw down a mana void to clean up.
Yeah, pretty cool. And they're also sort of doing double the damage as they're trying to go on the bottom, and they do get first blood. Pycat gonna drop, actually, and that's the hero that you want to be making the moves around the map instead.
Yeah, Silence, he did a pretty early smoke, and he's been kind of wandering around looking for his opportunity, but they finally baited out at bottom lane with the spin used to try and deal with the Ion Shell, and then all of a sudden the Shadow Shaman pops up with that really high damage and long duration ensnare. Shackles does so much damage. His level 2 is a 3.5 second stun for 200 damage. Right? Shackles has been buffed repeatedly to a point where it's now like finally the hero is viable again.
God. And this was something I wanted to mention before we got into that kill, is that they've also gone back in about a minute or so ago and blocked out these camps again. It just hurts so much for your pharma, your alchemist, that you've blocked out the hard camp and the medium camp. He's going to be struggling to find space to get himself farmed.
Yeah, if they can actually, like, they basically have taken over the safe lane jungle, right? That's gone. Just like we talked about, right? Is that Na'Vi are going to have to play off their mid and their offlane jungle, but it is beginning to limit farm heavily for the Alchemist because he also has the Enigma who plays off of jungle farm as well. So, and there's just not enough farm on the map for them right now.
Mid lane, they're going in for it right now onto this CM, and the TP rotation. Sioma just going to try and TP away. Is he going to get out? No! Whoever ends up finding the kill, the big buff CM right clicks.
That is a huge play. Vega really overextend themselves, end up losing a kill on Spirit Breaker, which then allows Na'Vi to guarantee take top tower. They know the Spirit Breaker won't be there in time to contest, so they're like, all right, free safe lane tower. We can still defend bottom if they really want to and try and prolong the life of this safe lane tower. Biver's here. They're going to come in with the Enigma. They do have Black Holes. So they can actually get a kill combo here.
Yeah, and Spirit Breaker is on the exact opposite side of the map, so he can't get there in any form of time. Movement comes in now from General, gets the deny, but not able to quite get off the Malefice, so Darkseer will make his retreat. And still, they're kind of on the side of Na'Vi, continuing to pressure this jungle, and like you were saying, making that space for the Alchemist to farm the offlane jungle himself. And we're also seeing like Treant at level 6. Do you still feel like the laning stage is into the favor of Vega, or have you seen Na'Vi make the moves to pull it back into their favor a bit?
I think this last maneuver that they made, rotating the Juggernaut out of his safe lane and then taking the opposing safe lane tower, opened up the map a lot. I think it does recover some part of the laning phase. It was definitely favored for Vega Squadron, but the combination of that blunder at mid as well as a good play by Na'Vi rotating top definitely opened up the map quite a bit. And we'll see the farm definitely on like the net worth chart. We'll see that kind of react to the map. Like, look how spread out they are. They're farming bottom, they're farming mid, and Juggernaut's farming like the top lane area as well. And this is exactly what Na'Vi want to be able to do, while Vega Squadron want to close out the map. And again, that's why like losing their Spirit Breaker is so important, because it's their only playmaker. So when Spirit Breaker's down, they don't really feel threatened and they can spread out.
Oh, General, they're going in for this one. The Overgrowth, though, to try and turn it, they can't quite get the Black Hole down. And so because of it, we are going to see 2 kills going the way of Na'Vi as they bring 4 from that Vega Squadron.
They healed up the safe lane tower quite a bit, but it does look like this push is going to take it out. I am a little bit hesitant about Na'Vi contesting any pushes from Vega Squadron right now. I think they've done a good job of just keeping the map a little bit open and getting the farm they need to, but if they take a really bad fight, this game could take a pretty nasty turn for them, but they're going to try.
Yeah, moving in. They have him here, and, well, TP away, Silent, not going to be able to make it happen. Pycat punishes. But again, while this is all going on, you have Spearbreaker, who's blocked out 2 more camps. And, well, the rotation in from Biver. Can they actually find this kill here? They do have Frostbite as well as Nova, wanting to save that for the charge. But it looks like it's still going to be the kill nonetheless. The CM picks up another.
Did you see that? Sioma tried to, like, bait it out. He, like, stopped moving like he was using Charge of Darkness because he didn't want to, he couldn't afford to get it canceled.
Yeah.
So he was just trying to bait out the Frostbite so he could charge afterwards. But unfortunately, a little bit too much damage, especially with the unstable concoction.
Well, Ancient Camp being pushed in again, and you do have this camp blocked out as well behind the trees. It's been the name of the game for Vega so far, as we do have the spin away from Jug in the bottom lane, and it doesn't look like they're going to try and force the issue with that tower any further. Still anti-mage farms.
Yep, Animages and Midas, Battle Fury. Again, like, you don't expect an impact from this hero, so just get the AFK farm items and call it a day. They're basically trying to get the Animage to a point where at around 30 minutes, and the Alchemist isn't quite finished farming, the AM is done farming, and he's way more impactful than the Alchemist, and they just take over the game. Before that point, it's all about creating space and kind of inhibiting the Navi side as much as possible. Them taking the safe lane tower would be a huge step forward for them being able to, again, get more control over the Radiant jungle and limit the farming area for Navi.
Oh, and they do take that tower with the ward set down in mid. There is still a charge onto the Alchemist, which is abruptly canceled as Dendi heads off across the other side of the map. And yeah, they're making the space that you're talking about, them needing to do. Oh my god, are you kidding me? The Shadow Shaman is denying his wards every time the Jug comes up to hit him. That's pretty sick. Man.
Nice. And gotta find ways to limit farm as much as you can. Feeding away Shadow Shaman wards, feeding away Treant. That's what I've always wanted to see from Valve, is to give us a stat of how much gold is fed away by these summoned units, because they do have an impact.
Right.
So especially those Shadow Shaman wards that are so easy to kill. I think it's like in total maybe like 250 or 300 gold. Like that's a serious hero kill.
Yeah.
If you actually take all those wards. So.
Well played there by the Shadow Shaman. Love to see those little things. And, well, we're still also sitting around with Dendi getting his arm lit up, building towards the Ranius. Hasn't really had that affect him at all. As far as, like, that matchup is concerned, you said that the Alchemist is still going to be farming when the AM comes online, most likely. Do you think that if the game continues as it's going, Vega Squadron are going to hit that nice timing, or do you see ways for Navi to sort of turn the tide over the next couple minutes? What's the big play that Navi are going to look to try and move towards next?
Usually when you get the Radiance, you try and get a little active with your Alchemist for probably about like 5 minutes. It's basically this Radiance is such a big power spike that you try and use it to get some towers and stuff like that. So we're probably going to see them try and get aggressive as soon as they finish that up. So in about 2 or 3 minutes, they'll have that item. They'll also have General Wind for Hanamitis, and isn't really close to a mech, so they don't have that team fight item, unfortunately, but maybe they'll have Pycat's level 2 Omni Slash, which is a significant upgrade. I think they'll hit at least some power spikes. I was hoping with the Enigma mech they'd be really strong, but I think either way they do try and force some fights.
There was a moment where they might have been able to find Snako, as they did place down a sentry ward and were kind of baiting it out, but Sioma not deciding to go for the charge immediately. Didn't have that level 6, otherwise that would have been a dead tree. And in the meantime, Afterlife, as well as the real you, Mr. formerly Aloha Dance, are all moving down towards bottom, pushing it in a little bit further as well.
Wow, they're not even getting the Radiance. They're going to 4-man smoke behind the Juggernaut right now.
Wow, jump forward as well. They've just destroyed Sioma, dropping the Omni Slash with all those other heroes in the area, and now taunting as well with the Overgrowth. Sineko a little bit mad about something.
That is, I mean, it was unexpected from my point of view, because I was for sure that they were going to pick up the Radiance, so it was definitely unexpected for Vega Squadron. They did not, like, that was a really fast, like, 5-man group up straight into a mid gank that allows them to be able to take that mid tower. That was cool execution. I like that Navi tried to make a play like that, and I think we should see more of that for the next 5 minutes or maybe even 10 minutes. I'm not sure how long you try and be active with your Alchemist in this sort of situation. Because because again, it's like, you know, the Animage doesn't really want to fight. He's busy doing his AFK farming thing, so you feel kind of comfortable being 5-man and going for objectives just because you're expecting only 4 heroes at Vega Squadron to be there.
Yeah, and in some ways I really like that they're not trying to just like chase the AM around the jungle, because if you miss that kill, then you've wasted a ton of time. But then on the same side, like, can you just let the AM free farm with the Midas and all that stuff? Maybe a little foray into the jungle could help to find it, but you just need to commit so many heroes for it. It's going to be hard. As Afterlife going to get ran down, they're going to drop the first black hole of the game, but the global silence to counter it, and Afterlife just going to saunter away. No problem at all.
That was awkward. This is a problem that General is going to have to deal with the whole entire game. It's why you've got to get Mech into Guardian Greaves. So you want to be able to hold on to your black hole. As soon as the global silence is used, you pop Guardian Greaves to remove that silence, and then you can go in for the black hole. But it's going to be difficult to arrange that, because G should never use his ultimate until he sees the black hole used.
Yeah. And I guess the plus side of that is that now that you have the Radiance up, maybe you can make a play with Global Silence down for another 90 seconds. It's that longer cooldown, obviously, for Black Hole, but, you know, there is a nice little window here for him with Radiance up, and maybe some objective to be moved towards, bottom tier 1 tower, perhaps, or maybe even Roshan?
Yeah, you are kind of right. It's like the black hole is not the only playmaking mechanism that Navi has, while the Global Silence is definitely one of the few, like, dominating team fight abilities that Vega has. So I think they can take Roshan with pretty good confidence here. I don't expect Vega Squadron to be able to contest at all. You can already see they're like posturing 2 heroes here, and he's going to charge through the Roshan pit to top lane, but they're not actually contesting.
Okay. I like that from Sioma. It's like, all right, do we get him to blow a big ulti or not? And yeah, the Global Silence for the save on the Darkseer in the bottom lane ends up netting Navi a Roshan.
Hey, you never know. Maybe you charge through and you actually get the bash charge onto Roshan that secures the last hit. You know? Crazier things have happened.
Absolutely. No, that'd be pretty cool. And I like the play, too, because there's not really much that's going to break it out. Like, if you use Overgrowth there, I'm pretty sure that the tree is fairly happy. And, well, now Radiance, Boots of Travel, soon to be done for Dendi, with Aegis on the side of Na'Vi. Is the play towards bottom lane now, or you wait for that like next big item that comes up first? Your opinion?
I'm not sure. I'm beginning to rethink the timings of this game, because we have Vega Squadron picking up 3 Hand of Midases. I think with those 3 Hand of Midases, they actually win late game now. Even with the Aghanims being given away to the various Na'Vi members. So I think there is actually pressure on Na'Vi to make a lot happen in this next 10 minutes, because they know these Hand of Midases are going to start, like, they'll basically pay for himself, and probably about by minute 30 for most of these cores, especially like G. I think his Hand of Midas is one of the later ones of the 3. So they want to make something happen. They know, like, the Animage, at least we know anyway, he doesn't have Manta yet. That is one of the better items for him to pick up. He gets a pretty decent peak at that point in time. So they should try and take some more objectives. Probably push this tier 1 and go for tier 2. Especially if Shadow Shaman uses their Serpent Wards at top, which he does. So now they don't have that extra pushing mechanism for the tier 2 push, meaning that, like, Navi easily outdoes them.
Oh, Tree actually is not going to get charged. He was charging the creep wave to push it in towards mid, so maybe you see the rotation over. But yeah, you talk about it. This is a really nice timing right now. Radiance, Armlet done for Dendi. He's even saving a hold of his ulti now. He's going to pop it to make sure that they can secure that tower. And looks like they want to come back to defend this tower. Movement comes in. There's the Overgrowth. General is there as well, looking for the black hole. But can he get it? He ends up dropping it solo on the Silencer, a bit too late to catch the real you. And so they will find 1 kill, but that is it for now.
Oh man, I really think I'm not sure what General was doing there. I don't know why he Malefaced. Like, they caught the Silencer. Like, that's the dream right there with the Overgrowth. He just needed to run in and black hole both the Animage and the Silencer, and they maybe could have gotten 2 big cores, and all of a sudden the game is like, the world is their oyster. Like, the whole entire map opens up. They can take more objectives. They can start actually maybe getting some aggressive vision down and just kind of controlling everything in the game. But They don't get it in time for Aloha Dance. He manages to slip away, and because of that, he's going to keep all the lanes pushed in, or at least all the ones that Navi are not at.
Is under attack.
Yeah, and now you're looking at a situation where you don't have Black Hole, but you still have the Aegis, so you kind of want to make things happen, but it's a little bit scary. General does have Guardian Greaves, so he's going to be able to get that dispel of the Global Silences. Another charge comes through onto mid. It's just a little bit of aggression. They actually decide to go for this one fully, and Seneko going to be brought back down and killed off. But it might come at the cost of the tier 2 towers. Top lane, they've taken it already.
And killing the Train Protector and maybe being able to take that tier 1 mid. Not sure, because the glyph was used, rotations are coming back. It doesn't look like... Maybe. I mean, they don't have living armor. This is a huge win for Vega Squadron, taking this mid-tower finally. It makes... I guess Alchemist isn't really afraid of smoke rotations into his jungle as much anymore because of how tanky he is, but it does, I guess, open up some opportunities for Vega Squadron to aggressively move in from mid into these deeper areas in the jungle.
And you have this problem now where maybe he might even end up being a little bit afraid of the anti-mage when the fights start to come up, because AM has the Manta style done now. There's a big movement up here to the high ground. Are they trying to take this fight, though? Silencer. Oh, wait, did they just run into him? He blinked into them? Oh, no! The real you gets caught out. He blinked into the jungle to farm some more, and Pycat just gets a free kill on the AM.
I actually have a funny story about Aloha Dance's new name. When he first did it, I was looking back at the replays. His name was like Dare Io.
Yeah.
You know, he just took out some of the letters, and it sounded like this phrase that I learned in Russian. Ya Nyepanamayu.
Okay.
And that phrase sort of sums up exactly how I'm feeling right now, watching that play from Aloha Dance, The Real You. It means I don't understand. I don't understand.
Oh.
Like, they had no vision of anybody. I can only assume it was a misclick, because there's no reason you should blink deeper into the jungle with nobody on map from Navi.
And now look at the situation. You have 10 seconds left until AM is there, and maybe they can like force out they're not going to force out a buyback, I don't think, at this point, but they might be able to take down this tier 3 tower. Pycat could have thought about coming forward fully, but with the Aegis already gone, they decide not to. We'll see if they can find anybody on the way out of this, but General, as Malefus turns, just going to face up against him. The Overgrowth onto 4. They're taking down 1, maybe going to be able to take down a little bit more than that, but the vacuum back inside of the shards. They destroy the CM, destroy General, and 2 are now dead, and Anti-Mage, a little bit pissed off about the situation that occurred earlier, is going to chase down Dendi, still missing a couple of times. With the Solar Crest there, is going to end up falling nonetheless. Saving the Mana Void, taking another one. 4, 5, all going down. My God, Vega Squadron strike back in a big way.
Great choice of Shioma Slayer to buy back there. That was a huge win. They just got the game back into their hands. Aloha he has his full Manta, and he's going to be picking up a Butterfly soon, especially if they can take some more objectives. I don't know. They were like they were looking. It was such a dire circumstance where they were already being pushed high ground by an Alchemist lineup by 25 minutes. I was thinking to myself, if Navi get away from this fight without losing anybody, they just control the map. And I don't think there's any comeback for Vega Squadron there, with barring a mistake.
Well, there's another little bit of a mistake as Pycat takes down the Spear Breaker. That's a dieback for him. Silent is dead as well. So the battle is just swinging back and forth, a little bit too far forward, and they lose 2 because of it. Maybe they end up losing Afterlife as well? He does have Surge back up in a second. They're waiting for it for the moment. Still going to be able to catch there, and, well, he is now in trouble. Guardian Greaves going to be no help there as the Darkseer is brought down. And now they run down mid. Why not? Let's just keep doing it.
Well, it's CIS Dota. Both teams being a little bit too Devi and getting caught is not terribly surprising to me. But this Devi should be fine, I think, right? There's no Darkseer. Darkseer is a big team fight hero for 30 seconds. Surely you can take this tier 3 and bare minimum, maybe even the melee racks before the Darkseer is there. And without him, I don't think Vega Squadron can win the fight.
They're just walking straight forward. Are they going to bring down the AM right there? So close to it. They're sunning up the silencer. They want to get him in the midst of a black hole. It looks like they're going to have to back out for the moment and just contain themselves to the tower. Don't need to dive under tower in that instance. And turning to fight, you have the Omni Slash, so if they want to go for it, thought about the black hole, but that's going to be a jump away. Silence still brought down. Go for more. Highcat spins away. Overgrowth catching the AM. That might have done it. There's the jump forward. Vacuum wall into 3. Is there enough follow-up though? Sioma's gone yet again. And still Na'Vi stands. Oh, Cap, this is looking bad. Stun. Okay, they're still catching the AM. And that's going to be melee down. Na'Vi looking quite strong.
Sineko stuck. Oh no, he's good. He's gonna TP out. Okay, well, good play by Na'Vi. They saw their opportunity, they pushed for it. Or maybe they're gonna lose some heroes.
They vacuum back onto 2, and well, they're gonna end up losing the Enigma, and unless CM jukes everybody's brain out, is still gonna fall, regardless of all those fancy footwork moves.
We'll take that.
All right, I don't know what Vega Squadron does now. Like, they caught a couple of heroes, but that's the cost of, like, being able to take the mid-melee racks this early. Like, Na'Vi are fine with giving up the Crystal Maiden and the Enigma. Mid's always going to be pushing in. The Alchemist is getting to his, like, Naga Siren rat status. And once you get to that, like, even Animage can't really contest with the constant split pushing you're going to be doing with this Alchemist. So he's always going to have, probably thanks to the mid lane being gone, 2 lanes of racks being pushed in. That really closes off a lot of the map and gives Na'Vi a lot of room to be able to just kind of lock Vega Squadron. The Animage is always going to be farming, but these other heroes is what I'm worried about. Like, they have Hanamidas, yes, but they still need to be able to farm some of these neutrals and things, and that's going to be closed off once Na'Vi gets the full rat out from the Alchemist. So I think Vega Squadron have to be... I think they have to play around mid right now and get this next Roshan. Like, they need this next Aegis, and they need to be able to utilize that Aegis to make sure that Na'Vi don't take map control, because if they do start getting closed out, their cores, like their silencer, are really going to start falling off, and it's going to be entirely on the Animage to carry this game.
Yeah, and he just, like, I mean, little things as well. Like a Blink Dagger on Shadow Shaman would make all the difference in the world. He does have drums, which is, you know, another form of being able to deal with getting in close and such, but that instant disable is just really important. The Hex is nice to be able to instantly take out one of those Alchemist Illusions, and still you have Anti-Mage farming, but as you mentioned, Roshan, soon to be on the table, and Na'Vi know about it.
MKB soon for the Anti-Mage, plus he's going to have his level 25 pretty quick. Either the 25 agility or the minus 50 mana void. Either one are going to be pretty significant. I'm trying to think of, like, the mana void is really worth it. Alchemist does hold a lot of mana most of the time, but it takes like a really long time to be able to burn through all of that because he's got so much mana regen. So I think maybe the agility is better in this case, and just try and buff your jump Manta play.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. He does need to get over here quickly, though, and they need to be ready to fight. He had his TP in his backpack, so wasn't able to jump quite in time, and now with Roshan going down, they're going to send out these illusions. You do have Darkseer Vacuum Wall available, and Ryu taking down the illusions, getting ready to walk in. Sioma is there again as well, charging down onto one, but Roche is still going to be the one that they need to try and take down in the end. BKB pop for the Ryu. Now wants to fight this, but he's not inside the Roche pit. Roche bashing up Highcat. It is going to go down now, and they aren't able to come in and contest it. I don't know if that was all intentional or if what exactly was going on, but they decided to kill off the CM instead.
That was worth it for Na'Vi. Like, Sineko did a great job positioning himself. Where he's sitting there to be able to pop smokes and be able to get a really good overgrowth on this tree next to the Roshan pit. And as soon as he spots, you know, them and they spot him, he runs he just straight up runs up and kind of like away from the Roshan pit, and that's perfect. Even if he dies, it doesn't matter. If they get the Aegis, then they're still fine. Like, Na'Vi still control the game. The worst possible thing would be them losing that Roshan fight outright, Vega Squadron takes the Aegis, and then the game's back in their favor again, I think. Now, with this Aegis, they've got their heroes. They just wait for their supports to come back. They group up, and they go for a 5-man push into high ground. It doesn't have to be that exact. Like, you don't have to go for it right away. They can just kind of play this slow siege game because the Alchemist needs to push out these other lanes first. But in the next 5 minutes, this should be another lane of Rax, barring some amazing plays from Afterlife. He's your playmaker at this point. He's the person that you have to see make the really strong vacuum wall play.
Oh, there's a quick jump in, and they almost completely destroyed Pycat. And there's the vacuum wall you were talking about, but the overgrowth is there as well. And now Guardian Grease popped, but it's actually going to be the Global that ended up breaking it before General could go in for the big black hole play. He doesn't have Blink yet either, so it would be hard to make that move, but still, big ulti's down, and Navi's still stand ready to push.
I'm a bit concerned about Pycat being able to hit this tier 3, though. You saw how fast Aloha Dance was able to bring him down. He just like popped the Manta, surrounded this Juggernaut. He was getting so many MKB procs that Pycat dropped like a rock. So, because if he can't hit the tier 3, then who does?
Yeah.
You know? And if they group up too much, don't try and hit the tier 3 together, then they're susceptible to vacuum.
Oh my god, and they end up going for it, but they catch them. Oh, immediate great vacuum back to break the black hole from General, and now Pycat just trying desperately to get onto anybody. He will manage to find that Omni Slash and doing a good bit of damage. Silent, not going to be brought down. The real you comes in, helps out his buddy, and now they're chasing. They want to bring down Alchemist on the other side of it as well. They're already gotten away with everybody else, so it looks like they're going to stop the chase, but a great fight there again for Vega.
I really don't think Navi should force that. As soon as they saw how bad it was for Juggernaut to hit the tier 3 and how well the Animage is countering him, they just needed to play a siege game and let the Alchemist do his thing. Like that, I think it was just suicide going into high ground like that, or even getting close to that Animage with the full 4-man behind him. I'm not sure what the exactly items they need to be able to turn a Juggernaut into a hero that can finally hit that tier 3 tower, but he's looking pretty lackluster right now. He's got Diffuser Blade, Mantis Style, Skullbasher. We don't have Shivas or an Assault Cuirass. We don't have either one of those kind of heavy damage mitigating items to prevent this AM from being able to pop somebody. We don't have anything like that, so I kind of felt like they needed to, after they lost that Aegis and saw how strong Vega Squadron was, they needed to just kind of like chill out and control the map and just play for more farm, because it's clear to me that they can't take a second lane of Rax anymore.
Yeah.
Not for a while.
And the other thing that's crazy to me, too, is that it's not like it gets a whole lot easier. You said there's not like another great item. Like, there are some items that are good. Abyssal Blade on Juggernaut, great. You're going to have that can jump in and try and blow one person up. But, like, Silent is still going to build into a Blink Dagger. They've been able to find all this with, like, Silencer force staffing him into a Hex, which is just insanity. But yeah, it's feeling like a big swing again, and you can take a look at the experience. 10,000 into the favor of Vega. Cap, I'm not sure where you go at this point, because now you have to wait for the next Aegis as well. Like at least 5 minutes away for that.
Yeah, we're gonna see the late game scenario for sure.
Yeah.
I think now, because Navi, at this point in time, they missed kind of like their mid game where they could play against these 3-handed Midases and just try and dominate team fights and go high ground before the AM is ready. That's certainly not the case anymore. So now they've got to play for picks, and this could be a good one. Afterlife does manage to get away with his Blink Dagger.
Yeah. And they're actually coming in. They want to try and fight this now, maybe. They are still chasing in on Snako and going to be able to find him. They drop down a Sentry Ward as well. A couple quick hits, a little bit of a razzle-dazzle, and they kill off that Treant Protector. And Shackles also here as well. But not really going to be to any great move, as it's just the Alchemist Illusions trying to keep these lanes pushed out. Can Vega start to think about moving down on a tower, or you just think it's keep farming?
No, I think they absolutely can. The Animage is getting to his peak. Once he has that Abyssal Blade, I think that's the the strongest an AM really gets. Like, you can get Moonshard after that, but I think once you have that Abyssal Blade, you have this blink in, instant lockdown. It's like a guaranteed kill, barring any save from the enemy. So you've got this like guaranteed kill mechanism. You've got BKB with still a pretty high duration. You still got 7 seconds on it. So you can definitely think about going high ground yourself. You just have to make sure that you don't get split pushed too much. And that is something that I feel like Navi is not doing terribly well. I'm kind of watching how Dendy plays this right now, and he's playing mostly off of jungle. He's not really using his Manta's been off cooldown for probably like 10 seconds or so. He's not really using these illusions to try and push out the waves heavily. I just feel like Navi's win condition, like, they have to stall out the game right now. Because if I was them, I'd be terrified of Vega Squadron 5-banning into my base, given how strong this Animage is.
Well, and this might be that moment where they think about it. You've got the wards. He's level 17 on the Shadow Shaman, so 1 away from that max level Serpent wards. But even still, there's a lot of potential here to take a fight and then just move up. I mean, you don't even necessarily need wards if everybody else is dead on the side of Na'Vi.
Finally, we have Blink Dagger for Enigma. Personally, I would have gotten this a lot earlier, just so I can blink and catch the Silencer in the black hole every time, but he's finally got Blink and BKB. He can jump, grab the Silencer, and they can win a fight. Awesome.
Oh, good Lotus Orb there. Gonna be able to blink away, vacuum. The wall actually hits onto nothing, and now the Overgrowth is there as well. General trying to get in a position. Is gonna be able to get it. The 4-man black hole. Omni Slash down as well. Oh my God. That is a problem, Vega Squadron. You need to take a second to think about that action. Ooh, gem to boot, no buyback? Is that just it? Did they literally just win the game off of that?
They really did. How is there no buybacks on the side of Vega Squadron? What the hell? Oh my God. I mean, General's had a tough game, and it's not entirely his fault. He's playing against the Silencer, so I don't blame him. But the thing is, when you have a tough game about Enigma, you have to remember, one play is all it takes for you to be the hero again. And that was the play. He played it really patiently, found the Silencer in the back end, got the blink forward, and barely caught the Silencer on the tail end, but it was just enough. He catches 4 heroes, fight's over, there's no buyback, and pretty much the game's over.
I don't think Na'Vi can believe it either. I don't think they believe that there are no buybacks because, oh, they're hitting all these other objectives, and that's all fine dandy, but you are now going to have Mega Creeps potentially as an AM. Oh my God, look at the swing. It hurts. It hurts, Cap.
Na'Vi are just like, just got gifted to win, guys. Like, it was going to be a back and forth for sure, but all of a sudden we win one team fight, none of them have buybacks, so... Wow.
Well, that is a huge problem. You get out. I don't think they're going to find anybody on the way out of here either. Treant finished his Midas, guys. Don't worry. Well played. Nice. I like it. 6, Seneko.
I'm a little bit surprised Vega Squadron are even sticking, because I would be tilted, you know? Like, wait, nobody has buyback? How the hell did we allow that to happen? But apparently they're going to try and play out against Mega Creeps. Na'Vi have been in this situation before, though.
Yeah, that's true. They have, and they've struggled in this game with the same thing they did in that series against Alliance. Actually breaking through and finishing the game. Oh, Cap, where do we go from here? I mean, geez, the whole game just got turned on its head. We were talking about how it was swinging back into their favor. Vega was looking great. And suddenly, a 20,000 net worth swing in the space of 2 minutes.
I think if you're Vega Squadron...
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
You can have one of those now, General. It's okay. You did your job. Just keep channeling. There's the global that comes out, and now Omni Slash actually going to be reflected back and forth there and is going to be able to walk away for the moment. There's Silent, also going to be able to drop the wards, trying to take this, but now a lot of damage coming out. There's so much net worth. Vacuum wall back onto 2 as well. Afterlife trying to run away. Silent still keeping a hold here of Dandy. They try to go for the Mana Void. It's not enough damage. The stun comes out. Buyback. They've got it now, but it might have been a little bit too late nonetheless. Lotus Orbs, they're all going to die. Yet again, no buyback on AM. running down the poor Vega Squadron, and good game is called.
Like the well played. You see the Enigma? He pops the well played when he gets the no man black hole.
Natus Vincere victory.
It's like, yeah, go me. Yeah, it's whatever, you know. Like, you're the hero of this game.